Paul Bell says, how do you motivate yourself to get out on your feeling down days? This is something that I struggle with at times. It'd be good to know how you deal with it. Some days I just don't go out. But if I really like, there was, I think that the way I deal with it is I absolutely force myself to do something that I really don't particularly want to do. So, for instance, and please don't be offended by this, Gareth. There's a guy called Gareth Edmeads who messaged me on Flickr to ask me where a particular tree was that I've taken images of before, and I said to him, "Oh, next time you're out and about, let me know and I might join you." And he messaged me and said, "Oh, well, actually, I'm going there to do a sunrise shoot, and on whatever day it was." And it was like, if you fancy it, I'll meet you there at 4 a.m. And I really didn't want to go. I was not feeling photography at all at that point in time. I was like, oh no. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to go. I mean, I didn't know the guy. Turns out he's actually a very nice guy, but I didn't know him. He could have been like an axe murderer or something. Never met him before. Never seen him. Don't know what he looks like. I only sort of heard of him across on YouTube, on Flickr. And I thought, no, do you know what? I'm not recommending that you go and meet strangers, but I thought, do you know what? Yeah, I'm going to get up. I'm going to force myself to go out. I don't feel like it. I didn't feel like doing it at all. And when I got up there, I was like, yeah, okay, the sky wasn't amazing, but I got lovely shots and really moody sky. Never vlogged it, I just went out and took the image. Lovely moody sky, lovely little bit of red in the background, and yeah, it really made me feel good. Came back and I could see in the camera, I was like, yeah, this is going to be good, this is going to be a good shot. And yeah, that was really good. So force yourself to do something that's sort of, you don't fancy doing, and if you do it enough, and that sounds stupid, but if you do it enough, then you'll feel it again. And yeah, it's just, I think back to that day, and I really didn't want to get up. I did not want to go, and I actually, Gareth was good company, and the shot was really good, and I'm really glad I went. Like I said previously, I've never had a really bad experience. Even the bad experiences are still worthwhile going out, still better for you mentally than not going at all. Neil Matheson says, your street photography is first rate. Thank you, Neil. Thank you. That's very kind. Do you have any formal training in any of the numerous skills required to put together these successful vlogs? No, absolutely no formal training whatsoever. So everything I've learned about photography and vlogging has been through experience and YouTube. In terms of photography, I learned an awful lot. I mean, don't think he's quite so helpful nowadays. I think he's a lot more about selling his workshops, but I learned an awful lot from a guy called Mike Brown. Just real basic stuff, and it's, you think, oh God, what? He's saying, oh, just if you literally just move yourself here, this comes into, but it's so useful. Like just the basics, the real basics, the basics of how composition works, how your camera works, how ISO, how the exposure triangle works, all of that has been, he was really, really useful, and I just sponged in everything that he said. I binge watched all of his vlogs and then went out and tried to put it into practice. So he was, yeah, fantastic. That was how I really learned my photography skills, and then experience. And then if there's something I don't know, so I like to teach myself things. I'm self-taught database programmer. I taught myself SQL. I've taught myself lots of things, Cinema 4D. I've taught myself how to do After Effects, Premiere Pro, but YouTube's amazing. So if there's something you don't know or you're not sure about, watch YouTube, and then once you grasp the basics, the rest of it kind of follows. You then learn through making mistakes and experience. So yeah, no formal training whatsoever. David Byrne asks about vlogging. Does it interfere with my photography, and do you find vlogging detrimental to your photography, and does it get easier the more you do? I think I've answered that one already, but yes, definitely it does interfere with your photography when you first start, and it does get easier the more you do. Refer back to my previous answer, David. Sound like promise is question time. Terry Carpenter asks, do you have a full-time job other than photography, and how many hours a week do you spend on photography? And also, is your family supportive about the time you spend on photography? Well, no, I don't have a full-time job. I am a carer for my wife who has MS, but she's okay. So she's okay. So how many hours a week do I spend on photography? I don't spend that many really. I've kind of pulled it back a little bit, that I do very intense sessions of going out and vlogging, and then I will then work on those over the next sort of 3 or 4 weeks. So what I was doing when I first started vlogging, which was incredibly expensive and incredibly time consuming, was I was getting up really early, driving out to somewhere like the Peak District, doing a vlog, coming back, editing the vlog, and then doing the same the week after. And that really just doesn't work for me, because I live so far away from anywhere that's really photogenic. If I want to do those really big places, I tend to now try and get 4 vlogs in over a 2-day period. So I would either take 1 or 2 nights, I'll go somewhere, stay overnight, or stay 2 nights and try and get 4 or 5 vlogs in those days. So I've got a month's worth over a couple of days. Or I'll shoot local. Shooting local is different. I do go out and reasonably frequently locally. And are my family supportive? Yes, they are. They're very supportive, so I'm very lucky. Andrew Wiley. Hi Andrew, how are you, mate? Went to school with Andrew. Good guy, really nice guy. He says, was there anything at school that inspired you to take up photography? And what could schools do to encourage people to take up photography whilst they're at school? That is a very good question. I did do a photography course, I think, a very small one, when I was sort of about 15, but we had the old film cameras, and there was I think you were lucky if you got to borrow one for a night to go out and take some shots, and then we learned to develop the images, but nothing really at school. I was pretty creative at school. I was a bit more arty, but I don't think I was very good at it, but I did really enjoy it. I used to do art and design with Mr. Steiner, if you remember him, Andrew. I did very much enjoy that, but not photography. No, photography sort of came later. I found that when I went on holiday, I was much more interested in getting some really sort of more landscapey type shots rather than the typical snapshot. So whenever I'd take a picture, I'd always try and make it a little bit sort of arty or interesting, or from a different angle, or trying to put certain things out of focus. But I didn't really understand what I was doing then, and I didn't have the camera to do it. I could never understand why these people can get these fantastic pictures where the front's really sharp and the back's out of focus, and my point and click just won't do it. Am I not standing close enough? Didn't really understand it, but yeah, I didn't really do anything at school. In terms of getting people into photography, it's difficult, because I think young people love photography, but I don't think they love it in the same way that us older people love photography. I think young people love getting those pictures that getting the likes on Instagram. It's almost like people taking shots for likes. I don't think people take shots for the art of the shot. I think they're taking shots for the likes. How you get people into it at school, I don't know. Probably take them out to places that are really photogenic and say, how would you approach trying to capture this scene and put it across. Maybe have some classes that are outdoors. Bit difficult in Peterborough, I appreciate, because it's very flat, but yeah, if you're living in a photogenic area, maybe take kids out once every couple of weeks and say, right, let's go on a field trip and let's see what images you could come back with, because everyone's got a camera on their phone nowadays. So yeah, I think that's what I would do. Martin Amory. Hi Martin, I hope you're well. Another real supporter of the channel. He says, many photographers only seem to take black and white street photos. Do you have any thoughts on if street photography should be black and white, colour, or both? Well, I'll tell you why a lot of people take black and white street photos. There's 2 reasons really. One is because black and white seems to really bring out expressions and moods, especially when you're photographing people. And 2, there's always something distracting in street photography, and it's usually colourful. So you can take out that distracting element by just turning it black and white. So that's a real common reason that people do black and white. I like black and white street photography because I really like the high contrast. I like the shadows and the light, and also I use it again to bring out character in someone's face and to get rid of those distractions. So I like colour street photography. It's got its place, but I think that, yeah, that's that. I mean, I like the black and white because I like the high contrast, and I know why people use the black and white. But there's definitely a place for colour. Colour, you know, if you've got an incredibly colourful scene, then capturing that, you know, sometimes the photograph is about the colour. You know, for instance, you get those I don't know what they're called, but the Indian celebrations with all the powder, and you know, you capture that in colour. It's fantastic. Or if you went to a carnival, you want to take a carnival picture in black and white, would you? You want all that vibrant colour to really stand out. So I think there's a place for both. Would be my answer. But personally, I like black and white, high contrast. Minisla, I think, says, do you ever get attached to any of your camera gear, i.e. maybe not the best package, but something that caught your eye? What gear did you start with, and collection? What's your collection to date? So what did I start with? My first serious camera I bought was a Lumix G2, I think, Micro Four Thirds, and I remember taking it into my camera club, and everyone else is there with their Canons and Nikons. I'm like, mate, this Micro Four Thirds, this is the future. You don't know what you're talking about. But I wasn't very good with it then, but I did love it. I did really enjoy it. There used to be a lens on it, which was the 50. I think it was a 55 to 200, I think it was. But because Micro Four Thirds, it was like 400, and it was like, oh, gorgeous. The photos, the lens was just the bokeh, just beautiful. I love that lens. And then I upgraded to a Canon 7D. I got equal pay payout at work, and I instantly went, right, I want a Canon 7D. Went out and bought a Canon 7D. Had no idea how to use it. Wasn't really a very good photographer. Ended up selling that reasonably quickly. Yeah, but I think I love that little Panasonic Lumix. I wasn't very good with it. It's not the best of cameras, but I really like that. So I think I went from there to a 7D, then back to a Panasonic. Then I went to a Rebel T3i, which I think was a 650D, I think, possibly. Then I went to a 70D, and now I'm on a 5D Mark III. So I love my 5D Mark III, I've got to say. But I think I've also got this, what I'm talking to you on now, which is a Sony a6000, which I absolutely love as well. But yeah, I really love that little Panasonic. Wild Bill, hello Wild Bill, he says, it's quite flat near where I live, and I'm keen to improve at landscape photography. When I go out in the country with my gear, I don't seem to see through the lens what I'm seeing with my eyes. Is it because the flat landscapes are difficult to photograph, or should I move to the Lake District? Any tips would be much appreciated. Right, so you're living in a flat landscape, and the fens, you know, I was brought up in Peterborough, and the fens and the surroundings were very flat landscapes. I would say the best thing to do is try and focus on, get a focal point in that landscape. So for instance, use the negative space that's there. So if you are, say you're taking a picture of a windmill, or if you can take a picture of a tower or a lone tree or something like that, even though it's very flat, you get the big sky in, get the tree as your focal point, and use that negative space to your advantage. That's what I would say. Or go looking for big foregrounds. So if you can find some really interesting rocks, get your focus right down on the rocks, and then get the sky in the background, and try and, you know, bring something forward in the image. I think that makes sense. I hope that's answered your question. Could just be gibberish. Andy Beatty, hi Andy, you're right mate. He says, is your lucky mankini pink or yellow? Actually it's pink with yellow spots. Remind you of anyone? Yeah. Mally Davis, see now we're getting into the real, you know, the real nub of the questions here. Mally Davis says, what's your favourite Chinese meal? I love hot and sour soup and special vermicelli. I like special fried rice, and I particularly like special fried rice from my local because they do it in this nice sauce, and you get big bits of meat and a couple of nice big prawns in it. It's very nice, special fried rice. Or chicken and black bean sauce, I like that as well. So it's got to have some chilies in it though. Yeah, very nice. And he also says, if you could shoot anywhere in London, where would you shoot? Asking for a friend. Come down, mate. Come down. We'll sort it out. I think I really want to try Brick Lane. That's my next London thing is Brick Lane, and I want to get some more of those night shots of St Paul's and Tower Bridge, and Shard. I want to get some more of those. Got a question from Warren Jones. Hi Warren, I met Warren, nice guy, met him in the Peak District, top bloke. He says, what would you like to see develop in photography over the next 5 years, and what do you hope the future involves? Oh dear, I'm not sure. I can tell you what I think the future is going to involve and what's going to happen over the next 5 years. I think cameras are going to become a lot more focused on AI. I think they're going to become focused on taking the image for you, which I think is pretty sad, really. But I think that's the way we're going. I think that people are becoming lazier, and I think that people are going to, I think we're going to get to a point really where we're going to sit in our own rooms and just go somewhere via VR and have a picture taken for us, which is pretty sad. But what I'd like to see a camera, a manufacturer, come up with a way that we can get all of the dynamic range in one shot. So, cameras, they can't take an image that deals with bright highlights and deep shadows at the same time. That's why we bracket. That's why we have filters. I'd love to see a manufacturer come up with a solution to that. But the trouble is, though, you see, the solution to that is probably going to be software based. And I'm really not a fan of all this software based jiggery pokery. Although I guess that's the way we're going. So I don't know. I'd like to see something like that, I think. Okay, Jeff Horn asks, hi Jeff, what tool, format, destination or style are you simply not interested in at all, either doing yourself or watching? Not bothered about portrait photography. That doesn't do anything for me, if I'm honest. Not really that bothered about film photography. I'll watch people doing it. I quite like watching Craig Prentice. Don't mind watching a bit of Stephen Irons as well. They do the old film photography, but it's not something I'd want to do myself. That doesn't really interest me. Portrait photography doesn't really interest me. And he also asks, which I like, thank you for not shying away from the controversial, which YouTuber that everyone else loves, and in brackets they can be huge, do you not watch at all, and why? Okay, so I'm going to say Nigel Danson. Don't like Nigel Danson. Sorry, Nigel, you're not watching. Say sorry, Nigel, if you're watching, but you're not watching. Let's be honest. I'm sure you guys, some of you guys, a lot of you guys like him, but it's not for me. I just no, don't. And how many tips can one person have? I mean, he seems to have 7 tips to become a fantastic photographer every week. No, not for me. No, not for me. Another one as well, who I'll add to the list now, is Brendan Van Son. I used to watch Brendan Van Son, but literally went to a talk that he did and said to him, he mentioned he was going into London. I was like, I do a bit of street photography in London, and I'm not looking to, get a collab with you or anything like that. Just if you want to pop out while you're over here, as soon as you said you're going, let me know. And he's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Why don't you send me a direct message on Instagram and we'll sort something out. I was like, okay. Sent him a direct message, nothing, not a sausage, nothing back. So, mate, you're not watching again, but that ain't right. If you're not interested, just say, do you know what? You're not really my type, And I'd have been okay, cool, no worries. But don't say, oh yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, drop me a message, never reply. No, so I don't watch him anymore, out of principle. Jeff's got another question here as well. Which overused, misunderstood or flippantly used term in the world of vlogging do you hate, disagree with? He says, mine is cinematic. For new world of vlog, for new generation of YouTubers, cinematic means black bars at the top and bottom, and that's it. Oh God. I've got to agree with you a bit there on the cinematic. I don't know. What flippantly or overused term? There was one vlog I watched the other day. I won't say who it was because I actually really like his vlogs. But he kept saying stomp. We're going for a stomp. I'm off for a stomp. Just going for a stomp. Always just been for a stomp. Going for a stomp. It's like, stop saying stomp, man. But that's not really, that's just a one-off thing. Composition, perhaps. Everyone seems to say composition or capture. It's a picture. It's a picture. But it's easy to trap to fall into. I say it sometimes. I do it myself. I don't know. I think perhaps the thing that annoys me, or things that annoy me about vloggers, and there's another question I think that Colin Hoddlesal's asked as well about what annoys me about vloggers. I think it's when everything becomes a subtle advert, and they'll drop in about their workshops, or they'll drop in about calendars, or they'll drop in about filters, or they'll drop in about presets, or they've got a dog. It's like, come on, like, okay, I know people have dogs, I know people like dogs, but don't use your dog as a marketing tool. Your dog's a dog, it's a pet, right? Don't, that annoys me. What else annoys me? I shouldn't start me on this one. What else annoys me is when people see something that works and then they go and like literally oversaturate the whole market with it. So like, I don't know, for instance at the moment, and I'm guilty, I've done it myself, but ICM, everyone and their dog is literally their dog is doing ICM. Everything's ICM this, ICM that. I genuinely, honestly, went out to take some pictures of some poppies the other night, a few weeks ago, and thought, do you know what? I need to do something different because everyone's taking pictures of poppies, and I don't want to be another one of those who just goes out and say, oh, look what I'm doing, and take a picture of poppies. So I thought, I know what I'll do. No one's doing this. I'll do a bit of ICM. I'll do some ICM. I'll do some multiple exposures, and I'll see if I can get some like really interesting results from that. And then everyone's doing it, and I'm not doing it because I did it, but it's just frustrating that I actually had the original thought, and it seems that everyone else has had the original thought, and now ICM's absolutely everywhere. So that annoys me a lot about vloggers. It's when they see something that's working for other people and they use it themselves. And it's like, I know it's natural that people do that, but I think that you need to be original, have original thoughts, do original things. I'm always trying to do something that's original, and I think that's what, that really annoys me. Definitely. Yeah. So Chris Sowell says, how does it feel to have a photographic technique named after you? Well, it's not my technique. It's not my technique. If you don't know, Chris put a vlog up called the Norman Method, which is basically shooting a panoramic image. Yeah, it feels great, but it's not my method. So sorry. Oh boy, this is a long one. I appreciate this is a very long vlog, but I do want to answer everyone's questions. I feel like I want to, I owe you that. So Darren Knight, hello Darren, hope you're well, mate. He says, who do you prefer, me, Dave Griff, or Mally? I couldn't possibly say. No, it's not fair. No, I love all of you equally. You're all great, great vloggers and great mates. So no, it wouldn't be fair for me to say. No. Oh, Chris Sowell's back. He says, my question is, oh, hang on. He says, before that, it says, you can disregard all my previous questions. I may or may not have been drinking when I submitted them. Okay, appreciate that. My question is, what are your aspirations for photography going forward? I don't know. I just want to keep making stuff that I enjoy. I want to take photos that I enjoy. I want to make content that I enjoy. I want to make content that other people enjoy. Further down the line, maybe some sort of revenue from it. I don't know. At the moment, I'm just looking to improve as a photographer, as a vlogger. Just make stuff that people want to watch and look at. Josh Carrick says, why did you say sorry? You were right, and you said what we all think, however controversial. You're referring to the vlog from Three Shires Head, where I got a bit angry with a couple of wild swimmers. Why did I say sorry? The reason I said sorry is because I was upset with myself more than anything for losing my temper. And look, they I'm not going to lie, they weren't great. They were nice people. Their actions weren't great. They were perhaps a little bit inconsiderate, but I wasn't great either. My actions weren't great. I should have asked them to move out of the way while I just finished my shot. And the thing is there was an awful lot more that went on in that exchange between the two of us, or the three of us, than what I actually put on the vlog. I was quite rude. I'm not proud of a lot of the things that I said during that exchange, and they didn't deserve what I said to them. Yes, they could have behaved in a different manner, but I definitely should have behaved in a different manner, and that's why I was sorry. Dave Griff again, he says, how do you manage to push through your recent disillusionment? I hear a lot of people talking about feeling pressure, but you seem to have a workable solution now, and it can't just be the community support. I just think I've taken the pressure off myself. I think that's how I'm dealing with it. When you're a vlogger, there's a real perception that you should, self-perception, not a perception from other people, a perception from yourself that you owe something to your viewers and your subscribers. There's a perception that you owe content, and you owe a standard of content, and you owe a consistency of content. And I think that if you take that approach the wrong way, then it can put an awful lot of pressure on you, and it can make you struggle incredibly when you're having a bit of a bad time. When things are fine, the pressure's good. Actually, the pressure kind of pushes you on, but when you're not feeling fine, the pressure can be crippling. So I don't put that pressure on myself anymore. If you noticed, my last few vlogs have been coming out at different times during the week. I'm not putting pressure on myself to release on a consistent date. I'm not even putting pressure on myself to release every week. At the moment, it is every week. It's going well. I have content to put out, so it's all good. But the moment I start pushing myself to do that, and I'm not feeling it, I will just go back to where I was. So my coping mechanism at the moment is just to say, look, I'm enjoying it at the moment, but when I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to worry about whether I don't put anything out for a couple of weeks, and I'm not going to make a big deal over it either. So because that puts pressure on you as well. So yeah, that's how I am coping with it. God, I think I've come to the end of this big list. I've got some more. I've got some more from Instagram, so hang on. Right. Tom O'Neill. Hi Tom, hope you're well. He asks, what inspires you most in your street photography compared to other photography? What inspires me most in my street photography? I think it's just the fact that with street photography, you can go down the same street every day and get completely different images. There's always something different going on. There's always something that happens that surprises you. There's always a shot that you weren't expecting to take. You can go out and say, well, today I'm going to be very fan ho-esque, and I'm going to go out and take some small people in big environments, and then something pops up and you're like, oh my god, I've got to take this picture of this bit of graffiti on the wall, and this interaction between these two people needs to be shown. Look at the light here. The light's absolutely phenomenal. There's not even a person in the shot, but bang, that is a great street shot. So it's the fact that it's so varied and so different. When you take landscape shots, like I could go to Glen and Tiff to the waterfall there, and it doesn't matter what the light is. My composition is probably going to be the same as 100,000 other people's composition, which is great because it's still an iconic shot and it's still something I love. But if I go out down Camden High Street, I think that's what it's called. If I go out down there, then I can walk in the same place on 3 different days and take 15 different pictures, completely different, regardless of the conditions, regardless of everything else. I can just, because it's about the subjects in the environment rather than the environment. So that's what inspires me. Ian Stronghill says cheese or chocolate. Chocolate, I'm afraid. Not good. I'm trying to do something about it, but I'm actually going back up in the wrong direction at the moment. But yeah, chocolate. Photography Ghost, hi mate. He says, if you had to choose landscape or street. Oh my God, if I had to choose. I don't know. I don't think I could. I don't think I could choose. I think I'd just say, oh. Street, I think. Yeah, street, I think. Very close though. Please don't take landscape away. Right, that's it. That's all the questions and all the answers. I appreciate it. It's been a bit of a long one, but I owe it to you guys to answer the questions. You've been good enough to ask me them, so I need to respect that and answer them all, and I've actually really enjoyed it. I hope that you have. I've got a feeling it's going to be an ultra long vlog, but you know, such is life, and I really wanted to get those answers out to you. Don't forget my new project is coming up in the next week or so. Thank you to everyone who submitted me their experiences. Only been 3 of you so far, but you know, that's still 3 more than I could ever hope for, so thank you very much. I've got some people lined up for their vlogs, their channels. I've got some people lined up for their photos. I've got some people lined up for some good causes. So brilliant. Thank you so much. I hope you're going to enjoy that. I'm in Cambridge on Sunday. I'm going to go out and do some street photography. It's going to be on a vlog soon. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.